All right, Saagar, what are you looking at?
Some of you might recall that from my last monologue, I delved into the millennial media company Ozy, a company founded by a Black and Indian entrepreneurial set who scammed about $90 million away from some of the most sophisticated media investors in the world on the promise that they can reach millennials. They weren't reaching any millennials, but they sure were good at parting billionaires who wanted to see a Black-owned business targeting millennials from their money. My personal favorite highlights from that monologue are that they impersonated a YouTube executive in a pitch meeting with Goldman Sachs, that nearly all of their metrics for traffic and views were fake, including ghost YouTube views of 1 million views with only 12 comments or likes on a video. And events, my friends, have moved so speedily, I am now happy to report that when I wrote this, the company was supposed to be dead. They said they were shutting down. And as of this morning, Carlos Watson, the CEO, has been all over the news saying actually it's their Lazarus moment, that he's open for business, and that it is slanderous to point out many of the lies. So let's start chronologically. After my monologue on Thursday, even more has come out about Carlos Watson. He headed something called the Carlos Watson Show, which he claimed was the fastest growing talk show on YouTube. And it turns out one of the ways that he got people to work for him and sold to advertisers is he claimed he had a deal to have his show go on the A&E network. He made that claim in his pitch to guests as part of the reason that many of them even appeared on his stupid show in the first place. Well, his producers and all went to work, and they noticed they never actually got to talk to anyone at A&E. Then, one of them noticed that the TV show Hoarders was actually in the time slot that Watson told them that they would be in. So after he got caught, he said, oh, actually, I sold the show to YouTube as a YouTube original. And by selling the show to YouTube, he means uploading the show to YouTube. But wait, there was more reporting as it dribbles out about this company. It turns out that the Carlos Watson Show wasn't even doing that well on YouTube. It had a 95%, yes, 95% fake viewership rate. Not only that, people within the company said nearly all of the social media followings for the company were fake, including their email list of 25 million, which it turns out they got because they refused to unsubscribe people at their request. Literally almost everything about this company was a mirage. I am taking you all through this not just because it's hilarious, but because we need to underscore how much of an obvious fraud this company was. Its founder, Carlos Watson, was and then makes you realize some of the biggest people in media thought that this guy was the future. NPR had him on the board of directors. CNBC routinely had him on as a guest and partnered with him for his sham media festival, Ozy Fest. Fun fact, who headlined it that year? You just saw Hillary Clinton herself. Remember, Carlos Watson Show, it had a 95% fake viewership. Guess who bought advertising on that show? Some names you might recognize: Chevrolet, Walmart, Facebook, Target, Goldman Sachs. That means the top advertisers in the world all shelled out hundreds of thousands of dollars to this fraud of a show. And they didn't have any good sense of anybody who spends any time on YouTube who could look at a single one of their videos and be like, oh yeah, this thing is just completely not real. Ozy, Carlos Watson, they're outgrowths of the same problem for the mainstream media. People who are young are not buying what they are selling. They can read the actuarial tables. They know that their boomer audience will eventually be gone. And I would posit here that Ozy Media is just the tip of the iceberg. As powerful and as titanic as the mainstream media is right now, remember that without Trump, they are fading slowly into irrelevancy. Now, this is really important. As sadly as I like to dunk on CNN, MSNBC, or Fox for their declining ratings, the truth is, though, that they are almost as fake as Ozy. The actual viewership does not matter for these companies. Huge portions of their revenue come from the cable companies who pay them to be part of the cable bundle, under the assumption that, hey, without having CNN, Fox, and MSNBC in the bundle, then people won't subscribe to Comcast or Verizon or whatever. Now, these deals are locked into place for years to come, so it's not going anywhere. But what happens 10 years from now, when the next round of negotiation happens? Well, the networks know this, and that's why they're all branching into cringe streaming services of their own, trying to get the millennial streaming audience. CNN has CNN Plus, Fox News has Fox Nation, NBC has Peacock, If you've ever watched any of those, you'll know that they all amount to absolute cringe and they have zero chance of success. Now, right now, we are in the midst of the revolution, even though the situation is maddening for pretty much everybody involved. The emperor has no clothes, and we all know it. And yet, they're still the emperor, and will be for some time. But underneath the surface, everything is changing. Shows like ours are succeeding with the very demographic of people that these mainstream media people want to target. And eventually, everything will move toward the new system. You should have a tremendous amount of hope in that, and always remember that as powerful and as pernicious as these people are, they are still the idiots who gave Carlos Watson $90 million. If that does not prove that they deserve to be beat, nothing else does. And I mean, the developments on this, Crystal, are incredible. I mean, yes. Carlos Watson is...
Hey guys, thanks so much for watching.
That's right. Just as a reminder, you can become a premium subscriber today. Watch the full show completely uncut, our reactions to each other's monologues. You get to listen to it, you get to ask us questions, all that good stuff. Link is right there in the description or at breakingpoints.com.
Best of all, great way to say screw you to the mainstream media.